Hi. If you've followed my channel for any time, you'll probably have seen a review I've done before on the Aeropress coffee maker. But that was some time ago, and I think it deserves an update really, because there's things I didn't say in that video which I think I'd like to say now. So we are a huge fan of this system in our household. This is our third one, so we're a 3 Aeropress household. So I've got one for the office. I'll take it into work, or I leave it in my desk drawer rather, as does my wife, and we've just picked up another one for at home. So from that, hopefully you can take from it that we're quite keen on this system and it's served us well. I've been using it since 2009 and it's never failed me. Very low maintenance, very low cost, the running costs are low, and the coffee really is great. So I thought, let's do an update, let's do a proper unboxing, show you what you get in there, give you a bit of background on the company, the history of the system, and then maybe do sort of some discussion about how it's used. Okay, so Aeropress is a company which is owned or run by a gentleman called Alan Adler, most famous for the flying disc toy, the frisbee sort of thing, the loop from our childhoods, if you're a child of the late 80s and 90s. And he came up with that company in about 1984, and I think he came out with the Aeropress system in the sort of mid-2000s, sort of 2005, 2006, something like that. So let's have a look and see what's in the box. Okay, so it comes in this rather attractive hexagonal, I guess it is, hexagonal, yep, box. It's got various quotes on it which talk about the quality of coffee. If you want to pause the video, you can probably read those. And basically says, top quote there, the best coffee maker I've ever owned. And I think to a degree, you know, it's hard to deny it's an excellent coffee maker. There's other systems out there, but for the function and the convenience, I really can't fault this. I've always really enjoyed using it. So in the box, we have some tools, this rather strange top unit, which I'll talk about in a minute. The Aeropress itself, the top piece, some filter holders, or a filter holder and a puck of filters, and the instructions. So we'll put the box aside. So looking at the pieces here, really the bit you're interested in is the Aeropress itself. It's effectively a sort of syringe arrangement with a rubber bung there. And then you've got the top piece which screws onto there. You've got a couple of tools here. One being the measuring scoop. Now that gives probably about 15 grams worth of coffee in a scoop there. If it's the morning, I tend to use sort of 1.5, 2 maybe. And this is a stirrer, which to a degree maybe might find superfluous, but still nice to have in the package. Little puck of filters. I don't know exactly how many filters are in here, but certainly a good couple of hundred. And if you think about the other systems you can get out there, very few of them give you any filters at all, and the ones that do probably give you sort of a dozen or so. So your Chemex, your Hario systems, you're buying filters straight away. So if you're thinking about cost and ongoing running costs, then this is a very good start and something hugely in favour of the Aeropress. Now whilst we've hit that point, let's just touch on the cost. The Aeropress in this kit that you see here runs at about £25, direct from aeropress.co.uk, I think is a web address, but I'll put a link below the video. So they come in RRP at about £25. The filters themselves are, let's just check. They're 350 filters for £6.50, and that is incredibly cheap compared to other systems. So that's about 1.5 pence per cup. They do note the filters can be washed if you feel such need. I never have. At 1.5p, I don't think it's really worth the effort, but it is certainly possible. The comparison is pretty striking when you look at other systems. So the Chemex being probably the most expensive filters that I know of, and they run between 8 and 12 pence per filter. Now, accepted that you can get more than a single cup out of a Chemex. You know, you might have a 6-cup Chemex, but it's still comparatively very expensive. Okay, so the kit here that you see, let's just touch on this guy here. This is actually, well, let's just touch on. Let's just talk about how this works first of all. So basically, the recommended method of use is that you pop a filter into this top bit. So the filter's trapped in the bottom there. You put your scoop or two of coffee in the top, and then you fill up to one of these lines here. Now, my way of doing it is, certainly I put in more water than recommended. I certainly let it brew for longer as well, because I like a stronger cup. But that's down to personal preference. I'll be posting some videos on brewing techniques shortly, so maybe you can check those out and see how I do it. So basically you fill this up, coffee, water, let it brew for a second, give it a stir with this little guy. If you've got a spoon, equally good, but that's certainly something they supply. You've popped it over your cup there, and then you depress this and squeeze your coffee through. Now the function of this element, which I must admit that I've never used, is basically just to help you get your coffee into the Aeropress without any fuss. As I say, not something I've used, but another addition to the kit. So if you want to strip it down to the bare minimum, I'd be saying this is what you need, this is what I use out of the kit, this is what is in my desk drawer. Now, brewing methods, there is another way of doing it, called the inverted method, and as I say, I'll post a video up on this showing you how it's done exactly, but this way you basically put your coffee, put your water in this way, and therefore you can let it brew for a longer period before you then put your filter and your top on there, upend it and put it into your cup. That's my preferred method. Okay, so ongoing use and maintenance, very, very low maintenance, really doesn't need any maintenance at all, almost to the point of not even needing a wash. Once you've pushed your coffee through, you've got your coffee granules, grounds even, trapped at the bottom there, squeezed through, pretty dry. Upend it, take this off, and then you pop, and it spits out the puck into your bin or into your compost, whatever you do with your coffee grounds. You can then take it apart, give it a rinse, but to be perfectly honest, you've just squeezed through all the liquid, all the coffee, and there's very little in there. The rubber bung here stands slightly proud, so it can be left in this position because it's not under tension. It will dry. It won't fatigue the material. So, you know, very low maintenance. You know, I must admit, my desk drawer Aeropress might get a rinse every couple of weeks, if that. I've used it for years. I've used it since 2009. It's perfectly fine. It's a very forgiving system. Okay, so just thinking about a few other things. Obviously you've got the instructions here in several languages. The actual instructions only cover two sides of this, so very simple. most of it covers the brewing technique that I've talked about, and also the cleanup and storage. Then there's some words on the taste profile. It makes a comment about acidity. The Aeropress brew is 1/5 the acid level of drip brew and 1/9 the level of French press. It's easier on your stomach. That's quite important. You know, a lot of us sort of have a bit of acid reflux, that sort of thing, so you want to keep those acid levels down if you want to enjoy your coffee throughout the day. That's quite important. Also, I think my understanding is that with the French press, certainly, where you're brewing at the bottom, the oils which carry the bitterness float to the top, therefore you get very bitter coffee. Personally, you know, I find that bitterness is a part of the flavour profile of coffee, so that's not the end of the world. But at the same time, you know, that is an issue. The caffeine level is the same as drip coffee, it says, so that's pretty fine. And that's really all there is to say. One thing that I would point out is how brilliant this is for travel. The system obviously packs up very small, and this void here, which is quite considerable, can also be used to pack a few charges of coffee in either a suitably sized Tupperware style cylinder container, or just a soft plastic bag along with your sugar, your spoon, whatever you might want. So really quite nice for a backpack if you're an outdoors sort of person. And that's probably about it. So would I recommend the Aeropress? I think the answer is absolutely yes. And you've probably heard from the video, I'm quite enthusiastic about the system. Okay, hope that's helpful. If you like my videos, if you're interested in coffee, if you're interested in kits like everyday carry, pen knives, torches, that sort of thing, please do subscribe. If you like this video, press the like button. Okay, hope that's useful. Thank you very much. Bye bye.